Yields signaling recession, the dollar seeing a collapse on the horizon from a technical analysis standpoint. We're going to dive into the charts today, looking at currencies and the 10-year yield and what it tells us about the scary future of the economy here in the United States and globally. Let's get into it. First, my name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist at verifiedinvesting.com. And as always, we look at the charts and use those charts to decipher the probabilities of the future moves. All right, into the dollar we go. Now, if you look at the dollar, right, so number one, if we're looking here at a monthly chart on the dollar, and you go back even as long ago as, let's say, 1980s back here, what's fascinating is that you look at the dollar chart, and essentially you have your highs here from around the 2000 area. That was the dot-com high. And you have your lows down here, which we briefly violated during the financial crisis, right? But when all is said and done, the US dollar against most major currencies, and this is key, folks, is actually hanging in there. And I know that's counter to what I said at the beginning of this video, but don't worry, we'll get to the scarier stuff going on. Okay, so ultimately, the dollar against a basket of currencies, the yen, the euro, the pound, etc., is actually holding up in a range between 120 on the DXY and about 80 on the DXY. Now, that's a pretty broad range, but overall, it's been chopping in that range. Now, the concerns that I have here that tell me something is scary is going on, right? So now let's start going into a tighter time frame. We're going to flip over to the weekly chart. Now, going to the weekly, we're going to look from basically 2007, these lows down here. And when we do that, take a look at what occurs. And essentially what we have here, folks, is we have a trend line that goes up into this zone. Okay, so from the financial crisis, there's been this positive view of the US, right? When you look at what happened during the financial crisis, the Fed came out of that. And everyone around the world, all central banks were like in marvel zone. They were marveling at, wow, the Fed handled this so well. The US is the best. The central bank in the US, the Federal Reserve is the best. All of those. And that really helped strengthen the dollar. The Fed's backstopping, the Fed doing the right decision. But what have we seen lately? We've seen a degradation of the independence of the Fed, right? More and more attacks on the Federal Reserve, making it more political. And that, my friends, is part of the issue. Not the only issue, but part of the issue. The second factor is that ultimately you have a scenario where the debt is uncontrolled here in the US, right? Even after Doge early in the year was supposed to cut all this fiscal spending, it never happened. It literally happened for a split second, and now the US government is spending far more money, even with the tariff revenue, far more money than it ever has before. So no fiscal responsibility. It's willy-nilly everywhere. And the markets are starting to show us that. How are they showing us that? Well, what we're doing is we're attacking this trend line, right? This trend line that goes back to the financial crisis of 2008. You can see right here, we're attacking it. And what we know in technical analysis is that when you have a trend line like this and you hammer on it over and over and over again, the more you hammer on it, the more chance it breaks through. Think about a door. When you slam into a door, right? Here's your door, and you ram into it. It doesn't break down. You ram into it again. It weakens but doesn't break down. Ram into it again. It doesn't break down. Finally, you ram into it as hard as you can, and it's so weak that you rush or break to the other side. That's essentially how you need to look at trend lines. Very insightful information here for educational purposes. And so when I look at the US dollar and I see this continued over and over and over again, kind of bashing on this level, and especially here, right here, guys, look at this, where we've kind of come into it, and over, the more in succession you hit, and this is another key component, the more where you hit it over and over and over again, inevitably that weakens it even more. Because it doesn't have, basically think about it like this. And I'm getting into a lot of trendline education here, but essentially when you have a hit here and you don't hit it again till here, the powers that be reinforce the door all along here. So see this time frame right in here, how long you didn't hammer on the trend line? That allows the little robots or whatever you call it. I mean, I'm just making that up, but it essentially allows the trend line to be reinforced so that when it hits here, it's stronger. Now, overall, you're still hitting it more and more times, but there's no way when you go away from a trend line this way, well, very low probability, when you go away from a trend line for this long, that when you hit it here, it's going to break. All right. But the difference maker is the more you stay on top of the trend line and you don't snap back like this, the weaker it becomes. And that's the kicker here. So ultimately, what I'm saying to you is that the odds are now, not only because we've hit it so many times since 2008, not only because of the U.S. deficit, not only because of the degradation of the U.S. debt, but more and more likely that we're going to see a bigger breakdown in the U.S. dollar. Now, when we break this line and confirm, you're going to have stopping points, right? You have technical support here. Then you go into this level. I mean, there's going to be stair steps down. But the point is that this would be what I would consider the beginning of the end of the dollar when this breaks. Now, again, I don't mean like the beginning of the end of the actual dollar. What I mean is the beginning of the end of the reserve currency USD. Now, it will take time. I want to be, especially on, social media, you hear these headlines about de-dollarization and the end of the dollar, oh, it's coming. And it makes it sound like it's going to happen tomorrow, lickety split, right? In reality, that's not the way things work. All right, reserve currencies slowly lose their reserve stature. You can go back to, various other countries over the last 500 years that had the reserve currency, right? What's interesting about this, a little tidbit of education, is that if you look at how long reserve currencies last in other countries, when other countries had it, and again, we're talking about Great Britain, we're talking about, other countries that had reserve currencies that were used widely. It's usually a allotment of around 100 plus years, just over 100, 120 years. And that's, interestingly enough, what we are coming up to in terms of the US dollar. So it's almost like the lifespan of the dollar is eventually, just like all the past reserve currencies, is eventually going to get used up. And again, you might say, well, why does that happen? My guess is, and again, I'd have to do even more research on this, but my guess is that it comes down to when a country has a reserve currency, eventually they abuse that power, much like the U.S. by really trying to influence other countries and push power, whether it's tariffs or other factors on other countries, to a point where those countries rebel and start dumping the reserve currency and moving away so that that main reserve currency country doesn't have as much power over them. It's very fascinating. I mean, these are research papers galore could be done on this stuff. It is absolutely fascinating. Okay, so the dollar, I do think, based on this chart, breaks below this zone by year end 2026. Then we see how quickly it goes to these first technical supports. Now, if we go to the 10-year yield, I think this is fascinating too, because the 10-year yield is starting to show us a bigger issue. Now, if we go to the bigger time frame, you can see this is the weekly 10-year yield, and you can see that we are creating a trend line. Look at this, guys, a trend line where we are just about to break down. Now, again, most people don't look at the longer time frames on the 10-year yield, but I actually think it's important. I think this is really important. This is a major trend line. And by the way, we just went over hits of a trend line. There it is. There it is. There it is. And then look at the quick succession. 1, 2, 3, all in. Look at how far away this was, right? Right from this side. And then how it gets tighter and tighter. And then right in here, hammer, 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 hammer. And then you're starting to break. Now, again, notice how the stock market is not liking this. Now, again, if this was over here in 2025, when yields were falling, the stock market was hitting new all-time highs because people were saying, well, the economy is still strong. The Fed is just lowering rates to go back to a neutral setting. That's what they were doing. That's what we were saying. But now it's, inflation is still stuck above, near 3%. And the Fed maybe lowers rates because they're losing independence, right? But the reason yields are going lower now is because there's fear that the economy is slowing. The jobs data is showing us a little weakness. We're seeing other weaknesses in other factors. And so when yields go down because the economy is slowing, it is not good for the stock market. And that's, but just to simplify it, that's the idea behind that is because what happens to corporate profits when the economy suffers? They go down. So how do you maintain the S&P at a ridiculous level that it's at, basically a bubble level, when you have lower corporate profits, right? There's one thing you can justify it because, Corporate profits are going up by X amount every quarter, so we can justify a higher PE ratio on the S&P. When it's going down, you got to redo that S&P multiple. All right. Now, let's just quickly go through the Euro USD real quick here. I want to see what's going on there. This still looks unbelievably strong, guys. Look at this. It's broken out. So the Euro continues to look very bullish against the US dollar. The GBP, USD, let's take a look at that. I mean, same thing. I mean, look at this. Beautiful trend line. Again, breaks out, retraces. Now it's pulled back. My guess is this is going to make another leg up. And then the JPY or the USD, the dollar yen here. You have to remember the dollar yen is the opposite because we're doing the dollar first here. But this means this is actually telling us this is the one currency that does not look like it's going to strengthen against the dollar. And that makes a lot of sense with their debt to GDP. But the yen is going to continue to weaken against the dollar. But the euro, the pound, even the Canadian dollar, I'm not going to go over that today. But ultimately, guys, the dollar is looking weak. It likely breaks down by year end. The yields are looking weak, like they're just about to break, which is not good for the U.S. economy. And by the way, those are all tied together. You might say, well, why is he covering currencies, but then the 10-year yield? Because if the yields are going down because of a weak economy, what is the Fed going to do? What's the government going to do? Print money. Is that going to dilute the U.S. dollars? And yep, absolutely. All right, guys. Hope you found this informative and educational. Remember, verified investing, all charts, no BS. That's what we're here to do. Take care.